And Kyle was on a bike and pulled up next to Sarah at that stoplight. Sarah rolled down the window and goes, "Hey, do you want to start a band?" And Kyle said, "Yeah." And then, boom, Narcic has evolved.
Kyle and I knew each other. I wasn't just like yelling.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, you was panhandling.
Yeah.
You're like, you, I don't know you, but we're starting a band.
You look cool.
Yeah.
Do you play drums?
Now.
I was in the corner with my sticks.
That's awesome. And how did you two get involved with the band?
Kyle actually contacted me on Instagram because we have a common friend, Tori, in Winfield. Shout out. She is a lovely, lovely human being that put us in contact with each other. And I was like, heck yeah, I haven't played in a band since I was like 24. So let's go. Let's do it. It's been a decade. I want to go again. And then Shane came on as our new guitarist. He used to play in another band that we liked a lot before and knew he was amazing. And then personality-wise, just fits in like a glove.
What was the other band that you were in, Shane?
I was in a band called Bonies.
Okay.
And the other members fell into a volcano, so I was the only remaining member. And so they scooped me up.
So he was the survivor.
Yeah.
So Narcic just put out a brand new album, which, if I'm not mistaken, self-titled. And so let's talk about Stereogum. Like, what in the world? Like,
Right?
Crazy. What? Scotty Sandwich like texts me and he's like, "What the F?" And I'm like, and that's it, no context. And I'm like, "What are you talking about, dude?" He was like, "Oh, hold on a minute." And then like sent me like the Stereogum thing, and it was like Stereogum's favorite albums of that week. And right there at the end, it's Narcic. And I was like, "This is insane." I was like, "This is awesome." I was like, you guys deserved it. I was like, it's kind of a win for the local music scene. It's a win for the sandwich shop where, if I'm not mistaken, you recorded the album. And it's a win for Oxford, so I was just like, excited 3 times, and I thought it was great. And I'm so excited that, somebody out there Stereogum was like, "I don't know who this band is, but they're sick." No pun intended.
Yeah, thanks. We're really excited about that too.
So what inspires your songwriting and the process behind it?
For me personally, with lyrics, I pull a lot from like my mental health struggles, and I try to kind of just work through a lot of stuff with the lyrics, and it's really fun to do, and it helps a lot with growing. So yeah, that's what I do. What about you guys?
Well, a lot of my songs are very literal. Like I wrote Grime literally about cleaning my house. Like I had the vocal melody first and then wrote the rest of the music and then brought it to Ash and she was like, "This sounds like a cleaning commercial. I need to make it a little deeper." And of course she made it 100 times better. But yeah, so it's just, for me, it's very literal and then bringing it to the group and they make it always way, way, way better.
I get a lot of inspiration from things that are both musical and non-musical. I grew up in Florida, so just kind of the hectic craziness of that led me into seeking very extreme music, whether that was punk, heavy metal, extreme hip hop, and I just think that my environment really inspired me to start playing at a young age.
I've only really written a couple songs and they're just old blues numbers, so I'm not that deep.
Okay.
You're right.
So let's go ahead with our first song. Would you like to go ahead and introduce our first song for the night?
Sure. So our first song is Rust. It's definitely, I think, the most popular on Spotify, and it's my personal favorite. So hope you enjoy. I need to
We're here with Narcissic Studio Session Series, second rotation. And if you listen to my show on a regular basis, you would recognize that song because that is one of the songs by Narcissic that we play on the show. What made you want to become a musician or get into the music lifestyle?
I'll give a serious answer this time. Typically, if I'm on the radio, I take advantage of the fact that people have to listen to me. So I talk about cryptids, ghouls, and goblins and other things. But yeah. But I think the first time that I ever heard Black Sabbath, I was 10 years old, and it was just so cool to me. And my dad showed me Sabbath, and he had a bunch of their vinyl from when they first came out. So I had like the first 6 Sabbath albums just on a record player when I was a kid. And they were my favorite band when I was 10, and I just turned 30 and they're still my favorite band.
For me, personally, I struggled with confidence a lot, and when I started doing theater and musical theater, because I've always loved to sing. But yeah, doing that and getting on stage and kind of stepping into another character really helped me come out of my shell and be comfortable singing in front of people. And then I kind of realized I don't really want to act, I just want to sing. And yeah, then I got hit up to play here, and heck yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I got into music to play with my brother, and then I sort of decided that it was something that I really enjoyed and wanted to take as far as I could go. And then our local music scene is so great, it's hard not to want to be a part of it.
It is.
Honestly, my friend stole a drum kit and decided I should be a drummer. But then past that, you just meet all these like awesome people, so you want to keep doing it because everybody's cool as hell. So yeah, it started infamously, perhaps, but.
Which somebody mentioned school. I had the yard arm on the last episode, and the drummer is one of Sarah co-workers.
Yeah, that's right. John is our works at the middle school with me. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, so we were like, I was the connection there. I was like, I love it. What set you apart from other bands in our local music scene?
Ash. Oh, that's a great question. Thanks.
The answer is Ash.
Oh, what? Aw.
She's amazing.
That's so sweet. Thank you. Yeah, I definitely think we bring something else. We're definitely like kind of weird, and I flail a lot on stage, and yeah, I don't not at all gracefully, mind you, but that's something. But musically, I just think we have a very kind of unique-ish sound. We all bring in different parts, like Kyle mentioned before. He brings in a little blues. We all bring in a little bit, something different here and there. So that makes us a little different.
And that could also be said for a lot of bands in the local scene, and that's another great thing about the local music scene here is you've got so many different bands who also share members, and but like it's like no band is the same. It's all something different,
Mhm.
and I think it's great. And I also think it's great. A lot of these bands are coming to, which a lot of people would never know, they're coming to Oxford to, record here and stuff. And I think it's wonderful.
It's the hub.
Yeah. And that's what I'm kind of trying to do, like with the show and Next Door Music Festival, which we just had our first one and it went very well, and we're planning for next year and stuff. That just trying to get awesome bands and do like something cool here, within the Triangle. What are some personal challenges that you face as an artist today?
Still confidence. Still confidence. It's still a struggle to get up and be vulnerable and be a musician and show off this wonderful, beautiful project we've been putting heart and soul into, and leaving it on the table to be criticized. Like that's kind of scary. So I've definitely struggled with that, but I've been warmed by the positive recognition we've got, and that's helped a lot. So,
And I think on top of the vulnerability, it's also having, full-time jobs and careers and being able to have the battery to then practice once a week and then do as many gigs as we do. And I think a big challenge also is being able to say no.
Yeah.
Sometimes because we get hit up all the time. Can you play Tuesday at midnight? No, I'm sorry, we can't. And
Can't?
yeah, we're all doing our own thing, and most of us are in different bands and musical outfits and stuff, so it's tough.
Yeah, for me, it's the hardest thing is not getting bogged down by all of the things that don't have to do directly with music that are now involved with being a band. All that kind of business side, like Ash is our main Instagram guru, and we spend a lot of time like working on that. Just the like releasing the record and all that sort of administrative stuff. It takes a lot. It's hard to not get bogged down and still have time to like, gosh, we gotta still like write music,
I don't know if I have a good answer to this.
No.
They do a
He
lot
has
more
no
work than I do.
challenges.
I don't know. This is, I am just very grateful to get to do this. So most of the time I can be in that headspace. So it doesn't feel like a grind because
It's cool, don't worry.
I'm lucky I get to be with these folks.
I was like, it's cool, don't worry, I'll get him talking. Sarah didn't talk a lot last episode. Talking a whole lot more this episode. And you mentioned positive recognition. I've been out to a lot of concerts here in the last couple of months, and I mentioned that, I was like, hey, I was like, well, I got a radio show, check it out. And I was like, here's the bands I've had on my show. I was like, I'm having like Narsic on in November, and every person I've talked about it, oh, that band's so sick, I love that band. My friends Bluegill, who have been on the show a couple months ago, they were played at the Pinhook, and I was talking to Todd, sound guy, and he's like, oh yeah, he's like, oh, the band's so sick. So let's kick off into our second song. What's our second song?
So our second song is called Pyromaniac Slug, and it goes like this.
listening to Narcic on Second Rotation. If you were just tuning in, who we are so excited to have here play tonight. And this is for everybody in the band. What's your favorite song to play live?
Oh, it's a loaded question now. For me, I don't know. Really like the new ones live. The
Yeah.
new ones.
How about off the new album? What's your favorite?
Off
one?
the album, my favorite one is probably Rest to Perform.
I think if I was gonna pick my favorite to play is Bowfin Brawl, which we'll hear later. It's because I wrote that one, but that one's not on the album. I think out of the album, I think People is really fun to play.
Dr. Force. The very last song is it? It's not the last song on the album, is it?
It's not.
Yeah, it's our closer generally.
It's a fun one.
Mine is definitely Grime. I just really like the bass line. And the sad thing is, even though it's my favorite song to play and on the album, it's our least popular Spotify song. Or like on any streaming platform, it has like 3 plays, and it's probably me like showing the song to other people.
And me.
So it like
I
every
feel
time.
like that's always how it happens with bands. They're
But
like,
why is that? It's like I don't know. But anyway, listen to Grime.
Real fans listen to
Get those
Grime.
numbers up.
Thank you.
Scotty
will be
grinding
on board.
Do it.
I can tell you that I've been, listening to the album a lot here within the ever since it came out, and one of my favorite songs off of the album is Guillotine. That song goes so hard.
That does go hard.
Dude, it's so good.
It's a good one for these times. It's a good one.
What musicians and what bands inspire you for Narcic?
Oh, somebody else start.
That's a hard question. For me, definitely, this is such a cliche answer, but Paul McCartney and how he so often does something that is like unpredictable with the bass, but sounds good. Like he doesn't follow the roots. It's definitely a huge inspiration. And then this punk band from Washington or Oregon, they were called the Gits. Just that energy, like before Ash was in the band, we covered some Git songs, and I would like try to scream the lyrics, and it was a lot of fun. But definitely that energy.
Do you see where Sub Pop just acquired their music and stuff, so they're going to be putting out, like, reissuing all their stuff or whatever?
It didn't, but
Yeah.
that's exciting.
It was announced like yesterday or 2 days ago.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's very exciting.
Sweet.
I think as of late, I mean, I already said Sabbath. I'm always going to say that first and foremost. But I don't really consider myself a punk. I feel like with all the punk bands that I played in, I'm always a visitor in that space or a tourist. Mainly the inspiration that I take might not make sense at first, but it makes sense to me. I'm a huge 3 6 Mafia fan.
Yes. Yes.
So I take a lot of that like really gritty, grimy, lo-fi stuff. I try to interpret into what makes sense in my head to come out of the guitar. I love electronic music. Like DJ Assault is really big in rotation right now. He's out of, I think, Detroit. Ghetto tech music. It's like really fun music. That's what I like to DJ when I'm doing my solo stuff.
I'm coming at this from like the 50s and 60s, so like very early Chuck Berry and the Who and the Kinks and the Beach Boys and
Oh,
It's all good stuff too.
yeah, stuff like that. That's where I'm coming from.
It's funny you mentioned 3 6 Mafia because like on my Facebook, whatever this year, whatever ago, it was like 6 years ago. I posted like 3 6 Mafia, and it's an old 3 6 Mafia song called "The Summer."
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that's my favorite.
I think for me, Ann Wilson is a huge inspiration personally.
Nice.
Yeah. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Amazing vocals. Powerhouse. Band wise, I'm heavily influenced with us by the Bobby Lees, Screaming Females.
Yes.
Yeah, A Giant Dog
Yeah.
and L7 are probably the biggest ones.
I want to say Screaming Females is probably one of the loudest shows I've ever been to.
Oh yeah, so good.
it
They're
was so
amazing.
gnarly.
Yeah, and then of course Reese McHenry. has always,
Shout out.
shout out, ever since I met, was always a massive, massive vocal inspiration for me. Just stunning vocals. And we had the pleasure and honor to play with her once, to share a stage with her. And she told me that I had a beautiful voice and my knees buckled. Like, that was the highest compliment I could ever get from somebody.
Dude, that's awesome. You got me tearing up over here. So
Sorry.
it's okay.
So it's
It's
breeze.
it's yeah. Take a second.
She wants us to rock out though.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah. Like I mentioned on here, but I mentioned before. Now I believe Scotty was the one that gifted us. It was a shirt of hers, and about a week or two ago, somebody came in, in Oxford Music at the record shop, and they were looking and they picked up the shirt. And they were like, "Oh, the shirt's awesome!" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I was like, "Are you familiar with Reese's music?" And they were like, "No." And they were like, "I'm buying the shirt though." And I'm like, "If you buy the shirt, you gotta listen to the music because it's gonna blow your mind." And so right then and there, they were just like, "All right, go to Spotify." Saved it. All right, I've got it. When I get home, I'm gonna check it out. And I was like, "You're gonna be so grateful when you get home and listen to this because it's just gonna blow your mind." What's your favorite moment as a musician so far?
I think for me, my favorite moment was when I realized I can be my goofy, weird self and sing off key and say the weird joke and not be judged. And by weird joke, I mean what did the fish say to the wall kind of a joke. Let me clarify. Or the lean beef, cow with two legs kind of a joke. But yeah, when I realized this crew, when I realized I could just be me, that was kind of an amazing moment, and we can have very open and honest conversations. So that was, as a musician with a group, really, really special.
I think the biggest moment that I've had as a musician is moving to North Carolina and going into a scene that is not gate kept, and it's warm and welcoming and everybody supports each other. Whether you're the indie band or you're the gore grind band, everybody's super cool and welcoming. And when I lived in Florida, I've been a musician for as long as I can remember. And when I lived in Florida, I would do session stuff as a funk guitarist. And I would try to join any type of band that I could, and it just never worked out for me. I lived in Orlando for 5 years, which has a cool music scene, but it was gate kept by 5 or 6 bands, and they just never let me in. I thought I would do an audition that went well, and it just never worked out. I moved here, and I immediately got immersed into the scene, and the punk scene and the hip hop scene, and everybody's super supportive. And at very most, they'll give you constructive criticism, which is something that every band needs.
Mine, I have two. One would be when Narsic played our first Punkin' Drag, which is put on by Dan at Bored to Death. I think that was the first time I played a sold out room, and the energy was amazing, and it was just so much fun. So that's definitely a highlight. And then my other one is when we ordered our CDs and Ash came over and we opened them together with ridiculous scissors, and you made a ceremony of it, and then the box opens and we're like, because it was wow, it's finally here. We had been working with Scotty for so long, and it was a physical representation of everything that we had done.
Ah, boy. Probably when my friends stole that drum kit. I don't know. Those Punkin' Drag shows are awesome. Being in a writing room with this crew, this is the most democratic. A lot of bands I've been in, somebody comes with a song and they kind of know how they want it to go. This room comes in and it's very you have a little bit. Sarah,
You build it together.
Yeah. It's the most just communal writing space that I've ever been in, and that's been exciting.
Oh, we're a family.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
You brought up the music scene here and how people aren't, judgmental or anything. They're just like, hey, like, okay, cool. Like, you're a band, you're great. Like, hey, let's play a show together and stuff. Nobody's judging anybody. Definitely makes my job a lot easier doing like this show because I feel very comfortable reaching out to a band and being like, a lot of other scenes, it could be there like, nah, we don't, you're in some small town, you're just doing this small little radio show and stuff. But every band I've got nothing but a positive, reaction when I've asked them, would you were the first band to be like, hey, can we come on your show? So thank you for that, because that was awesome. But, I don't feel nervous or anything, trying to get bands from the local scene on my show or even just talking about the show, trying to promote it, because, people would be like, you think, in your head, you're like, people would be like, nah, but then you ask them and whatever, talk about, and they're like, that's so awesome. That's so great. So kind of makes you feel a little bit easier about the whole thing. So
Yeah, what you're doing is great here, man.
thank you. very
And
much.
everybody's seeming like every band is like, oh, we're the island of misfit toys. But that's like every band in this local. We're an archipelago at this point. We're the Greater Antilles of freaks.
Freaks. Geography jokes. Yes.
Yes.
I like the Caribbean.
Let's see. And I lost my spot. Did I ask you what your favorite? I asked you about your favorite moment as a musician, right?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite show that you have played so far as Narcissic?
Hunk and Dry. Those are so good.
Which one?
Both. Split hairs.
Yeah, same. Those were amazing experiences. I think what's fresh in my mind is the Halloween show we just played at the Cave. That was so much
That
fun.
was sick.
It was so fun. It was packed. Everyone was having a blast. It was just positive vibes. It was such a good time.
Jaws Fest as well was really fun. That was when we played with Reese,
Yep.
right?
That was my third.
Geeked and Antiquity were there.
Mhm.
What I loved about playing with Antiquity, because they're a black metal band, and I was like, I love your sound. That's like true blue, like classic black metal. And he was talking about the lead singer was talking about other bands. He's like, yeah, this band's really good. They're totally bad vibes, which I feel like with every other genre except for black metal, like bad vibes is not a good thing, but
Yeah.
that's a good thing to them.
For me, it's either the first Punk and Drag, which was Star Wars themed, which made it even more fun and challenging in costumes that were like kind of hot with like parts that came off.
But also hot.
And definitely Halloween. Halloween at the Cave was like packed. It was 10,000 degrees. The mosh pit like came onto our stage,
Oh, wow.
the stage, and like unplugged all my cables. And I was like, I should be mad, but I'm not. This is awesome.
What's your favorite?
Punk and Dry.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, either one. I love a good excuse to get naked in public.
Yeah. And I'm bummed I really wanted to go to that Halloween show and was bummed I couldn't make it, but I'd already bought tickets like months ago for Kerosene Heights, Teens of Trouble, Teenage Halloween,
Fair.
and it was
Fair.
in Bangs, which what's the drummer's name for Bangs? Erica?
Jess.
Jess. So wasted. She was so wasted.
Nice.
Dude, it played great, but like in between songs, there was like 5 minutes of banter, and she's like, screw it. I'm good. I'm 40 years old. I can do this. And like everybody out there is just rolling and laughing. And then she's like, it's cool. She was like, she looks over at Erica and she's like, we got 3 more songs. That's all I can make it. 3 more songs. She's like, it's cool. She's like, we got all these other bands here and they can play more songs. But I can only do 3 more. I had to go get her water. It was like, she was out there dying.
I love it.
It was great.
They ripped so hard.
Oh, so hard. So Reagan over here, who is an employee for Oxford Music, she actually knows Erica because Erica is one of her teachers at, what is it, Wall of Sound.
Whoa.
So Reagan's been involved since she was very small with Wall of Sound and stuff like that. So she knows Steven.
Shout
And
out to Banks.
I used to work there.
Nice to meet you, Reagan.
she's a younger but up and coming artist in the local scene. So you play your whole band played Shikory Hills?
Yeah, last year.
Wicked.
Yeah.
What's your band called?
Well, my old band was called Awkward Silence, but we lost 2 members like a couple months ago, so now we've rebranded with someone else. So we don't have a name yet. We're working on
Okay.
When you get a name, we'll scoop you up. Let's do a show.
There you go.
it.
Have you read the Tom Maxwell book that came out not too long ago? What a Strange and Wonderful Time, about like the 89 to 99 local music scene.
I've heard of it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, it's so good. And there's like all these like famous quote unquote famous local musicians that are like in that book. And like I just read it and Reagan had just started and she's talking about it and I'm like, dude, you just name drop everybody in this freaking book. I was like, that's cool. I was like, well, that's good you work here. I was like, sorry.
I'm gonna check it out.
It's a good read. Like I'm not a reader and I just like flew through it. Two turns. All right. What are some of the biggest strengths in the band, and what are maybe some of the weaknesses you feel like you maybe need to work on?
Nobody immediately turned and looked at me.
I think personally, I struggle with memorizing the lyrics. Scotty knows when we were recording, I would sometimes forget songs while I was singing them. So that's something that I just personally have to work on. But I think strength-wise, we're really strong as a group. I think one of the best things we do, aside from sounding amazing, is that if we mess up performing live now, we're pretty good at just adapting and rolling with it.
Yeah.
It works out. Nobody seems to notice as much.
I think that the thing that I need to work on personally is when I'm on the radio and I know the FCC is listening, not to say the F word, is in my head right now. It's like, which one's like the bad one? All of the really bad words, like my head. So
Hey, me too. Me
Yeah.
too. I curse.
I
I
wasn't
can say
it
it.
makes you wonder what the F in FCC stands for. So
Fart.
or the C.
Fart.
Oh no.
I wasn't thinking about that. Now I am.
I can't stop thinking it.
God.
Shane made me forget what the question was.
The same Malort.
Biggest weaknesses and strengths. And
Strengths and weaknesses.
Malort was a weakness when we were recording because
That was strange.
something's weird with me because I kind of like Malort, and I know it's like you're not supposed to like it, but it wasn't so bad. That's not my weakness. That sounds like I have a problem. Oh man, I have so many weaknesses.
This isn't actually a podcast. This is your
It's gonna turn into therapy.
No. Gosh, I mean, we have a lot of strengths. Like Kyle said, we work together so well. We're very respectful of each other when we don't disagree on something. A big weakness of mine is I always write in F or F sharp, and I need to not do that for once, maybe. That'd be cool.
if this was an intervention, this would be the craziest intervention I've ever witnessed.
She's writing an F, I'm thinking an F.
What drives your passion?
Oh, that is a loaded question. Oh, driving my passion.
Malort.
Exactly. I don't know. I personally, I love doing this, and I just always have, and I want to do it as long as we possibly can.
My passion comes from I have 2 cats at home, and one of them's orange, and he has a one cloudy eye, and he's pathetic, and he talks a lot. And I think if I didn't do this, you'd be disappointed. And then the other cat that I have, was part of a hoarding situation in Florida, and there was an oncoming hurricane, and this person had hoarded 48 cats.
Oh, God.
So we adopted one of them, and she was so malnourished that she's kind of a forever kitten. So she's really tiny, and she meows once a month, and it's to tell me to always to do better.
Sweet. She's like, "Yeah, I believe in you."
Yeah, it's one tiny like.
Yeah.
Why do I have to share for Shane?
I don't want to go next.
Kyle, can you be a buffer?
My passions. I'm pretty sure they wouldn't be friends with me if I didn't play drums. So
Darn tootin'.
I think this is my only use of skill set in the group. So that's my major driver. It's just Darwinian.
You bring beer to practice too.
Sure.
And you keep me sane when I'm driving in the rain at night.
On the wrong side of the road.
No, that's not true.
Wait,
All the time.
Wait, do tell.
Yes.
Okay, listen, the roads in Oxford are really, really hard to see the lines
That's
on
true.
in the rain at night. And I was like, "This is the road? Is this the road?" And Kyle's like,
For the shocking hour.
She might have hit one of Shane's cats.
"No, they're all safe. Why would you say that?"
Well, the roundabouts around here mess up all the other people like worse than the roads because they apparently don't know how to use a roundabout or a four-way stop, and it's like just like it's foreign to them. And like it's funny on the local page, I can't believe the taxpayer dollars paying for this. I'm like, dude, this is so much better than this light that stays like the one down here and the one that, especially the one that was at the roundabout down here that like never changed. You're like 10 minutes, you're like, God, I just want to go. Like, and it's like still that. All right, so let's get started with another song. What are we gonna hear now?
Next one was under.
Oh,
I thought we were close.
Oh yeah. this
yeah.
way.
Okay, the people are great.
Oh yeah.
We can both. Let's do both.
Oh yeah, both it. Both it. It's one of the new ones. Both in both.
Second rotation on Next Door Radio. If you're just tuning in, thank you so much for being here, Narcy. This has been awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Yes, definitely. And thank you for reaching out and asking me to come on the show. That's like I said, that was cool that, you're like, hey, like instead of me having to reach out, like your first fan was like, do you want to come on? And I was like, yes, definitely, 100%. So what are some of the greatest lessons that you have gained in your experience as a musician?
That you always suck. You're never good enough, and you should always try to get out of your comfort zone. Always try new songs, new genres, new everything. And if you think you're good, you suck.
That is 100% correct. I spent about maybe 2 or 3 years without a band in my late 20s, and I would go do auditions. And auditioning cold for people is the most humbling thing in the world, because they will be like one song in, just like, nah, dude, like you're out of here. And you should- FCC, I just drove, very far. So yeah, there's a lot of humility involved with this, unless you just are naturally talented, like some others.
Yeah. I think I learned that you're gonna smell a lot of farts.
Yeah.
Like practice, shows,
Sarah, we're
touring.
That didn't actually happen. I said it might happen. It did not happen.
It does happen a lot. It happens a lot.
But it's not me.
If they talk behind your
Sometimes.
back, then fart.
Art.
I love that.
Never mind. I was gonna tell a story, but it's
Nah, go.
Oh,
Go.
no.
Is it a fart story?
It's a fart story.
story perhaps.
it's the fart story
Go first.
from when we were on tour.
Oh, do it. Tell
Is
it.
that okay?
Yeah.
Wait,
Thanks for
Shane,
asking.
can you tell?
Oh yeah. So yeah, we played at Fleetwood's in Asheville, which I think they're back doing shows again, which is awesome. That's a great spot. I love that part of town. Love Asheville. So we did a show there, and then afterwards we went back to Black Mountain to have 10 of us over at Sarah's mom's house, which is a big ask, especially when everybody's been drinking all night. And we finally get done partying. It's 3 or 4 in the morning, and we're finally all done. We're all on deflated air mattresses and couches and whatnot.
I was on the floor.
And then so everybody's like, it's shut up at this point to everybody. There's 10 of us. And then we finally, it's like time to close our eyes. And then I hear this, it sounds like a haunted mansion door opening. It's like,
Like the slow creep.
yes, it's
And
like
it kept
you,
going.
it let out the souls of the haunted mansion.
In a
Was it
perfect
like,
B minor.
15
Yeah.
seconds.
I had vibrato and it's like,
Yeah, I was relaxing. I was settling in for bed, and it just happened. Like I said, nothing's gonna prepare you for the amount of farts you're gonna be exposed to.
Just creeped out.
Oh yeah,
Literally.
it was deserved,
Oh yeah.
and we had a good laugh before going to sleep.
I gotta say, this has probably been like one of the funniest episodes we've had so far.
This
You're
is
welcome.
This is what our band practice is like. It's like a miracle we get stuff done.
Yeah,
Laughing and farting.
laughing and farting.
just farting around.
So I'm gonna pull this one. This is one I asked. I don't have on my cards over here. And this is not taken away from any other band in the scene, because somebody made a point one time, and I was like, no, I need to reword this. Not out of all the favorite local bands, but just a random local band. What is one of your favorites that you like to shout out?
I'm gonna say this because it is someone who we care very much for his birthday today. Finn, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Finn is in this awesome new punk band called Chiroptera. They are like, I don't know, like 14, 15 is the age range.
They're 15. They're freshmen in high school.
And that quartet is so talented for their age.
I've heard about them here recently. I haven't got a chance to check them out, but I was like, oh wow, I was like, okay.
Yeah, they rip.
Kind of shredded. No big deal. I'm going to shout out some some hip hop artists because I work with them a lot too. I'm going to shout out Eddie Lowe. He's actually on this T-shirt with me.
Nice.
He's the blue guy on my right breast, and on my left breast is me. I'm Mad Honey, and then we're playing a show at the Boxcar in Raleigh on Saturday. And somebody else that I want to shout out is Malibu P. That's my buddy Paul, and he's just a delightful human being. Total friend crush.
Mine is definitely Henbrain, which is Erica from Bangs. Her other project, which I don't think they do a lot, but that band is so amazing. They have 2 bass players. One is lead bass, one is rhythm bass.
Oh,
And
wow.
it is the coolest thing that you will ever see. Yeah, check them out.
Exactly.
I know anything Erica's involved with is probably going to be super
Yeah,
awesome.
they're so cool.
I'll shout out Jimmy Ray Swagger and the Fussy
Yeah.
Blues. Yeah, look them up.
Yeah.
Most alcohol consumption per band member in the Triangle.
That's awesome.
That's a tough.
Yeah,
It is.
We can have the drinking.
Within the triangle.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Oxford is the most normal part of the triangle. So
Is it?
It is.
Officially?
It is.
Oh,
I looked it
I
up one day.
apologize.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. I looked it up one day because I was like,
Doesn't that make it a wild?
yeah, or octagon, whatever. It doesn't matter. Obtuse triangle or whatever.
Some sort of polygon.
It's a rhombus.
Oh, it's a rhombus.
That's right.
All right, so let's kick off into another song. What do you have for us?
Grime. Sarah's favorite song, Grime.
Eyes are straining, heartbeat racing. I'm being buried alive. Blurring, dreading, curving. A storm stuck in my mind. I'm coming on the rise. But knowing that my baby is my free, my
Got a few more questions, and then we'll plug some stuff, and then we'll wrap up. Sacrifices that you had to make, and do you regret any of those sacrifices?
Gosh.
Sacrifices that we've had to make in terms of music.
Yes.
I sacrifice sleep every morning that I play on a Thursday night. Because I work at a middle school as well.
Ooh.
But yeah, I thug it out, you know. We also sacrifice a goat once a quarter. And that's how we get so many.
That's how we got his stereo gun.
That's a true secret. What do you sacrifice, Kyle?
Not goats. Cats. I'm killing
No!
cats.
Whoa!
Everybody's sensitive about cats. On
If my daughter heard that, my daughter is like obsessed with cats. She would like you be her father.
The dog person.
Yeah, 3 of us have cats.
Honestly, I want to shout out people's loved ones. If you are in a relationship with anybody that plays music, then
My girlfriend Jess is right there.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
right
like
there.
straight up,
Yes.
like that's you know, obviously we have our sacrifices, but the people in our lives have to sacrifice to, you know, make it we can do this too. So shout out to them.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of time, like we're gone. Luckily, my partner is in 2.5, 3 bands, so he understands and he like the sacrifice. But yeah, it can be hard, you know. Sometimes we're on the road for 2-3 nights
For days.
for 2 days at a time.
For days.
2 whole days. Yeah, I agree. I don't personally feel like I've made a lot of sacrifice, but definitely my wonderful husband Gabriel has sacrificed a lot of time so that I can do this. Like tonight, you know, he has to take care of our 2 dogs, and the 3rd dog we're taking care of, and our cat, and just manage the household in general. And I really, really, really appreciate him for it. And he makes us cafecito for practices sometimes. Very, very, very thankful for that.
Well, Sarah, you could be like, you know, you and your significant other can just like let's just like play like a show together.
You know what? We try to do that, but he's in a black metal band, really, really cool. They're called Moynok, but they would like blow us out.
Yeah.
Like it would be, you know, Moynok?
Speak for yourself.
What? Cool.
She doesn't
Like,
mix business and pleasure.
Russell's been in quite a few bands in the local music scene. He actually Paul Siebert, whatever you call it. He's from Person County, and then like I have a cousin who was in this band, or it's still a band, they're called Sterile. And then like they were in the same local scene with Russell, like starting out in the Person County, the little music scene, and then expanding out to the Triangle and stuff like that. So we kind of actually like Paul didn't know that Russell and his wife Hannah were going to be here for that show, and like they show up. Paul's like, oh, wow.
Whoa. We love a small world.
We do, exactly, and we love Paul, and we love Geek. They made all the bands made a great impression for the Next Door Music Festival, but Geek were hilarious, and everybody absolutely loved them.
Oh, we love Geek. I definitely try to be as energetic as Paul is.
Oh, yeah.
On stage. God, amazing.
Yeah, it's just
Love those guys.
yes. See, what do you want, or what do you hope people take away from your music and from Narcy?
I know what I'm gonna say.
Which STD you can handle?
No more microphone for Kyle.
I told you guys.
Kyle's cut off.
You've lost your privileges.
It's gonna happen.
Again, this is just like being practice. I really want us to be kind of like a beacon of positivity and welcoming, and like the songs we sing about, I've definitely had people come up to me and be like, oh my gosh, like that song, it's exactly how I've been feeling about like my family lately or something, and like I relate so hard to that. That to me is what makes it, is that you have that connection with somebody in the audience.
I feel like I don't get that as much. It's always some dork that's like, yo, that pedal sucks. You gotta get isolated powers at the power on your pedal. That's where you get so much buzz, man. And then he disappears.
Yeah, the charismatic people always come up to Ash. I get some real weirdos. I guess Shane does too.
With the neon hair.
Speaking of pedal boards, one of the members of Yard Arm has like a pedal board, and like you just like press this thing or whatever, and it like pops up like it's convertible. And never, it was like the coolest thing ever.
Don't even tell me that.
Yeah, I
My
was like,
girlfriend
don't
was
push
mad at me.
So the new album's out. One question also that I was about to forget to ask, advice for upcoming musicians like Reagan over here, people that want to get involved in the local music scene, whether it be in a band or just helping out, doing merch, or just whatever. What advice would you give them?
Well, first of all, there's no conventions there's no right amount of exposure that you need. There's no right amount of Instagram posts or anything. You can really be like very morose and secluded and still get spots as long as you practice, work really hard, and perfect your craft and just be really good at that. I feel like we're kind of in this post-recording studio music world where as long as you have a computer that can run Ableton, you can do whatever at home. And just be true to yourself and make music for yourself and not other people.
Yeah, I'd say, piggybacking on that, don't be afraid to play, like just bring in whatever you want to try to play with. It's playing an instrument because it's supposed to be fun, it is play. So, don't ever stop creating, don't ever stop being curious, just try the thing.
I would say try to make good connections and always be like nice and positive with venue owners. One, because you just should, but two, because it really helps you. And if you're like always cool and super thankful and, they'll remember you and look out for you in the future, which is important when you're trying to get shows.
Try to show up on time too.
Yeah.
Rain delayed us a bit, but
Get the easy stuff right. Show up on time, have a good attitude, practice for God's sakes.
Don't take it too seriously.
Yeah. Just get be nice, be positive.
Rain and Apple Maps.
yeah,
Oh.
But luckily, everything worked out.
I'm uninstalling Apple Maps after tonight.
Do you have any upcoming shows that you would like you want to plug?
On November 30th, we are playing in Greensboro with a band called Thing, or
I think it's
THNG Thing. Okay,
Fine.
thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks. It's their like EP release, and we're really excited that they asked us to be a part of it. It's going to be at Etc.
Etc. ETC is the venue. It's a art space.
And so you can check out Narsic on your favorite streaming services. They're on Instagram, they're Facebook, and also I still want to plug again tomorrow night, benefit for Reese Henry, local 506. I believe that's the doors of 7, show starts at 8. If I'm not mistaken. A lot of great bands. It's a good cause.
Pipe is playing.
Oh yes. So get you to close this out with one last song, and I was wondering if I could make a request for a song.
Oh, throw it out.
I want to Guillotine.
You want to do it? All right.
Thank you so much.
Let me click
All
a few
right.
things real
We're gonna
quick.
play this one, though. We're thankful for Keith for this.
Shout out to Keith.
Shout out to Keith. Let them
me. And I just want to thank you so much.
Thank you so
And
much.
thank you for being a killer band
Thanks,
and
y'all.
our local scene and stuff.
And this one's for Reese.
This was for Reese, definitely. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap up. This has been November's Studio Session Series for Stuck in Rotation. Thank you for listening. Tune in every Thursday from 8 to 9 p.m. And then, you know, we do this every month, so keep you posted. Check my socials, Instagram, working on Facebook. We love you, Reese. Until next Thursday.